today, and let's go through one of the big things that what we'll do. We'll go through, I'll teach a couple of things, and then you and I will work together, and basically you'll have a free appointment. So it was really interesting. Last night I got an email, and it's kind of funny, but I did a huge mistake. And you know what that was? It was right before I went to bed. I looked at it.
Oh, you looked at it before you went.
And that's like the no-no. Okay? Okay, a text, maybe that's an emergency text, but an email, emails are never emergencies. People will call you or text you. And what happened is, I so I was just about to go to bed. I was preparing for today and really trying to listen and focus. And I looked at, I was going to set my alarm, and I saw on these smartphones that always tell you, hey, you need to, somebody else's agenda is pressing on your, and I looked and I was like, on email, and I thought, I didn't even think, I just turned and looked. It was the worst thing I could have done. Because of that, what has happened is I thought about it. Last night I tried to do, now I had to stay up a little bit longer because I needed to get it out of my mind. Because it wasn't necessarily a negative or a positive email. It was a patient expressing their concern of my videos, what I've been doing, and my prices. And if they only realized, and if they would stop complaining and come here, I mean, if they would have come here today, they would have had a free appointment. Trust me, I already decided, because I knew this class wasn't going to have very many people. I knew, and I already said, I always make my mind up on certain things, like if people come, what am I going to give them? So I already said, you know what, if people come, they'll have a free appointment. So I want to thank you. Okay, so we're going to go through some things today. And I don't know if you've seen in my last video, but I put a price on what I'm seeing patients now for, because I'm not seeing patients. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a mentoring package next year, and it's $2,000 an hour. Okay? But really the reason why I did that is because it's not saying I'm trying to exclude people. All I'm trying to do is say, you know what? I have so many things to do. If I do a one-on-one appointment, I would love to do it. I just can't, basically. But if I do, it has to be worth my time. And believe me, I will give you $2,000 worth of information, and I will help you change $2,000 worth. I just worked with the CEO of, he's the president of Yidio.com, Y-I-D-I-O, out of San Francisco. They're an online media. What they do is they're like a search engine for media. So if you want to watch a TV, or oftentimes if you search, I want to watch, what's it? I'm trying to think of a show, I don't Okay, I saw this the other day because it was a musical, Glee. I totally don't like that show because, well, only when I saw it. Maybe there's some good parts, but when I saw it, I was like, oh my gracious, they're promoting gay and this and that. Anyway, okay. But regardless, I worked with him because they were going to sell their company for $30 million. And in the 9th round with Amazon, it fell through. And so now they're in talks with, you ever heard of iHeartRadio? Or it's the #1 app of all radio stations. You can actually listen to your radio on your phone. Anyway, they own almost 1,000 radio stations. So very, very huge. So now they're in talks with them, and their goal is to actually sell the company for $100 million. And so, which, we can't even think sometimes, it's so huge, right? It's like when we talk about hundreds of thousands or millions, it's kind of like, huh? And so we went through and we did some work. So with him, was it worth it to do an appointment for, would it be worth it to do an appointment for? Of course. If he's working on selling something for $100 million and he's hitting his head at $30 million, he's like, even $30 million. I mean, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, anyway, so yeah, I thank you. Thank you for, thank you for being here. and we'll have a lot of fun today. So let's do a little bit of training. Let's talk about listening. And these, you know, as far as listening, there's different levels of listening. So the first one is obviously here. So I'll just do an ear. That's an ear, okay? Then the next one, let's talk about this one first. Let's talk about listening with our ears. So very often in our society, we're actually not even listening with our ears anymore. We're getting away from listening with our ears. In fact, we're so distracted that we're actually not even focusing. So when we listen, even with our ears, one of the one things that we need to do is actually become connected, become engaged, right? Mm-hmm. One of the best things that we can do, like I've given the example before, but my daughter, you know, and she's kind of like, Dada, and I said, I'm here. Yeah. And I just kind of like, man, this can wait, you know, the debate can wait. And one of the best things we can do is, you remember in Mosiah, the people turned their tents, so the door of their tents towards Mosiah. So one of the best things that we can do when we listen is that we actually completely be in alignment. You got it. So we actually align ourselves with the person who is trying to get our attention. Now, there are different forms of alignment. This can be a form of alignment, right? We're still aligned. Right. So when would we use this type of alignment?
You know, a lot of people you're talking to.
Good. Also, what's really interesting is if I come to you like this, it's a lot. Now I'm gonna show you something. Actually, let's clear this chair out and let's have you sit here because it keeps maybe let's have you sit on the right end. Yeah. So if I were to listen to you, and I'm gonna do this, and it'll be a little bit. Well, I won't say the word because then I'll prep you. But if I were to come to you like this to listen to you, do you feel that? It's kind of like. But look how close I am right here. Right. Do you see that? I'm actually as close. Yeah. But so alignment, when we're aligned, we actually gotta feel. We actually gotta listen, but be aligned. If it's full on front. If you're going to be full on front, sometimes you actually have to step back and be aligned. And start to notice this with your grandchildren. Or sometimes it might be that they're okay, and then you can give them a hug like this until they're kind of that space is. And so that's another way of aligning. Because we don't have to be full on frontal. So it can be front, full on front, or it can be side. Side, of course, is going to be used more when you want to get close to someone, but they're kind of like you want you in their space. So, when would you use, besides I give you an example, but when would you use this type of approach? And I won't think about it in a relationship like with your husband. When would you use this type of approach? Because you guys are pretty, you lived with each other a long time, you're comfortable with one another, you can usually approach this way, but when would you use this approach?
I don't want to be overbearing.
Don't want to be overbearing. So one of the best things, if you don't want to be overbearing, is let's say, and you guys probably never have any like discussion or arguments, but let's say...
We're real people.
I know, I'm just joking, that's why I said that. Let's say you just had maybe a little bit of a discussion, and it was kind of like each of you were right, and you each had your points, and it just kind of a little bit back and forth. Now, if you were to go up to Daryl and be like, honey, just give you a hug. Oh, forget it, okay? And maybe the time's not right. But when the time is right, what about if you came up to him and you're kind of like, man, you see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And you kind of feel, as soon as if he takes a step back, you know that, okay, that's as close as I can get.
Okay.
But you want to be able to once again connect with them, and him, I should say, or with your grandkids or whomever it is, so that you can actually once again be bonded in that sense of, if you have this giant sphere around you, sphere of influence, you want to be able to connect once again. Okay?
I noticed that a lot with the grandkids.
Oh, yeah.
Anya and Dan and Alex.
Right, right.
Jacob and Marina are both more, I mean, Jacob and Marina both give front on house easily, you know.
Mhm.
But the other three have to be very careful, you know. I mean, even when I see Alex, he'll just be like a tap on the shoulder or something, you know.
Mhm.
In fact, I haven't given him a full hug for one time.
So try, I want you to try then, kind of doing the, hey, thanks so much. I want you to start working on the alignment of this alignment, because it's not a bad alignment, because a perpendicular alignment or full on, this is full on, boom, we're already connected.
Yeah.
Come in, and I want you to start coming to the side. And even when you're talking to him, there's a time when it needs to be full on frontal.
Yeah.
This is wrong. Okay, go ahead and stand up. So